So, whether you are a new Mac user or an old one, I wanted to share my favorite, most useful and best accessories that I myself have been using for the last 2 years to get the most out of your Mac. Welcome, my name is Adrian, a 19-year-old engineer student at university, and on this channel I post videos about self-development, study, tech and blogs. So if you are interested in this type of content, consider subscribing. So first I will talk about the USB-C hubs. I started to use a higher cool USB-C dock, if my memory don't fails, that I've been using 2 years ago since I own the MacBook. And it's a very basic USB-C hub, mainly because it just have 2 USB ports, SD cards, HDMI and a USB-C port that is basically for the charging. And this port right here that I have, wait me a second. This one, you can see the ports right here, and it's basically an aluminum body, the same basically as the MacBook. But what happens with this USB-C hub, that it's basically, I think I get it on 2022 at $22, and right now it's around, I think, $18. And it's very basic, but when you plug a lot of things, and basically this port, USB-C port right here, it gets very easily overwhelmed. What I want to mean with this is that if you charge your MacBook, if you connect I don't know, a mouse and some SD cards and a display with the HDMI, it will be suddenly turned off, or the second port will be not working properly. This USB-C hub, basically this port right here, doesn't work like at all. And because I plug a lot of things onto a MacBook, because you know, HDDs, SD cards, mouse, keyboard, display, sometimes I have external accessories like my Wacom tablet that I like to use when I practice calculus or math in general. So I changed this exact USB-C port, and I think I will be use it as when I get out and I don't want to plug a lot of things. Also, it's very lightweight, so if you will be only browsing the web, you know, connecting a mouse and a keyboard, reading SD cards, charging your Mac, this USB-C hub is for you. Also, it's very cheap, so you will be alright. The next USB-C hub I want to talk about, and as a recent purchase, is the Lionway USB-C hub. Right now I have plugged it onto my Mac because basically I am recording, I am doing a lot of stuff. And this is basically a 13-in-1, I think it's called, because it has a lot of ports. Like it has 3 USB-Cs instead of 1, 3 USB ports, the basic micro USB and SD cards, an AUX cable. Also it has an Ethernet port that this one doesn't has. So when I plug like a USB-C adapter to Ethernet, it will fail, and basically it will be not recognize the Ethernet. Also this has 2 HDMIs that for the MacBook Air you can do anything with it because you can only connect one display, and it has a display port. That a display port can be useful for a MacBook Air specifically because you can connect, I don't know, to a gaming monitor. I saw under this, and you can use a specific cable and get the 120 Hz of refresh rate. So for now, this USB-C hub, it's like the perfect one for me, basically because I can connect a lot of things at the same time. On the last days, the power delivery was failing on this. I think it's a factory fail because I see the reviews on Amazon, and everyone else USB-C hub from Lionway, it's working fine. So I think I will be using the warranty to fix this problem of the power delivery. Basically, you connect the MacBook charger, the official, everything it's working fine, but the USB-C hub, it's not recognizing the charging, and that causes to the MacBook not to charge. So on my experience, the Anker ones doesn't seem to fail that much, but they are more expensive. Everything else works perfectly on this USB hub. This model specifically you can search on Amazon and you can see a lot of brands doing the same exact model than this one. And the price is of $44, I think I bought it. Obviously much expensive than this one, but for the things that you are getting like 3 USB-Cs, it's reasonable for me. Especially when you see the Anker ones going for, I don't know, $65 or $95, it's a big difference. So the next thing I want to talk about is storage. Let's start with the SSDs. Here I will recommend the SSD SanDisk external storage. The first benefit from getting an external storage like an SSD is that you will be saving a lot of money because the Apple storage, it's very expensive. The SSDs has a lot of write and read speeds, are water and dust resistant. Also, it can resist hits or falls to a floor. And in my opinion, it's ideal for frequent and most used documents. And the only con I can see is that they are more expensive than the HDDs. But now let's talk about the HDDs. HDD basically means hard drive. I basically get this whole amount of storage because my SSDs are not enough. I see a lot of this on the internet. Lots of people are trying to buy a lot of SSDs when they run out of storage. The con with this type of storage is that write and read speeds that are very low. Another benefit I see from these hard drives is that they are very cheap compared to the SSDs. Just because the hard drive that I just purchased cost me around $110, insanely cheap on comparison with the SSDs, because with an SSD you are getting only 1 terabyte. One thing I want to mention, and that is important to set up this HDD, is that you have to do certain configurations on your Mac to the HDD to work. I will leave you the video below that explains exactly how it works, but basically the HDD has like a Windows format, so you have to format it and reset it to a Mac one. I think the guy on the video uses like Time Machine, I think it's called, or disk utility, and I am about to set up it also, so I will leave you the video below like I mentioned earlier. But basically, if you are not storing a lot of files, with a big SSD you will be just fine. So the next accessory I want to talk about are the AirPods. Right now I have the AirPods from the first generation that yes work perfectly with Mac and iPhone. The sound is great, charges quickly, it's practical, portable, for working on a desk, on your work, or working out, but not buy this. Buy the latest generation. I am saying this because the AirPods of the first generation are basically for I think $170, and it's not worth it taking in consideration that the second generation it's at 200, or I think it's going lower than that. And with that difference in price, the differences on improvements are massive. So don't think on buying this. The next one is the monitor. Here on my setup I have the Samsung 1080p with 60 Hz of refresh rate. It's a basic monitor that I found on 2021. It's nothing crazy and only do the basics, but I don't recommend this monitor right now. I recommend gaming monitors, not because you will be gaming on a Mac, that's impossible and currently it's not a good option, but because they are better in refresh rate, resolution, color and everything. Right now they are 2K resolution and 140 Hz I think, monitors that are around $250, like the Samsung G5. And there is a lot more of monitors out there that has these specifications for this price. So don't think on buying this Samsung monitor that I have right here. The next accessory I want to talk about is the keyboard, especially this AirKey or Royal Knudge 61 keyboard that I reviewed on the past. It covers all the basics. It's responsive, minimal design, lightweight, a small format like the 60%, and very easy to get used to. Also a good sound and cheap. Right now I can think it can be found at $40 or $55, I think. And the only thing I don't like about this keyboard is the lights, because they are like on a fits yellow one. Yes, I think you can see it. It's like a yellow fits one, like a gold type of color. And I don't personally like this because this doesn't meet with my setup, but I simply turn it off and the battery basically lasts a lot longer. On my video of the keyboard I heard a lot of critics, basically because they were saying that right now there are better keyboards, and I think it can be possible if you research more, but this keyboard hasn't bring me any problems and it's working very fine so far. And the last accessory I want to talk about is the mouse. Firstly, I had a Logitech G502, I think, that I had in the past with my previous setup with a Windows PC. That mouse is very bad, specifically because it's like designed for gaming, and Mac it's not for gaming, obviously, because they are many buttons, it's heavy, it gets very dirty fast, and that cable doesn't play any favor. But as a benefit, it's cheap on the gaming mice. I know that for a lot of people $35 are a lot for a mouse, but I think taking in consideration the other mouses that are out there from Logitech, Razer, etc., this one specifically it's good priced. And the last mouse I want to talk about is the Logitech G305. But why it's my favorite? So basically it has a very minimal design, it's very lightweight, it has an easy customization with Mac OS. So I put the mission control on the center button and I put change like the windows on the MacBook with these two buttons. So I can quickly navigate through the system. And basically they are on the same price as the Logitech G502. And also it's wireless, so you don't have to carry any cable with this. The only con I see with this mouse is that you can't basically use it without a USB-C hub, because you have to carry this thing to make it work. So you have to try to use an USB-C adapter, and I saw another mouse from other video on YouTube that uses an USB-C directly to a Mac. You can search it on YouTube, and I can put the video also below. But if you want to like use a mouse outdoors, that option is like better in my opinion for you. But that's not an issue for me, basically because I only use the mouse indoors, and outdoors I use basically a trackpad on the Mac because it's awesome. I think it's the best trackpad on a computer. I think that the MacBooks has an excellent trackpad in comparison with the Windows laptops. So that's all the accessories I tried so far as a Mac user. If you want to see more tech content on this channel, I will leave you the playlist right here. See you in the next one, bye bye.